Hey, did it. We're live. So today we're doing our live stream a little bit early. I left work a little bit early today because I'm out for a week, and sometimes when you're working, it's better not to start something that you're going to come back to in a week. So I left a little earlier, so that's why we're doing this a little earlier than we normally would do. But every week we do our AMA type thing where we try to provide direction, provide mentoring, all that great stuff, and I'm very big on mentoring. Speaking of which, on a side note, um, my work is hiring, and they're having trouble finding people. I imagine, you know how I know? Because it's hard to find good devs. But I thought, you know what? Why don't I just share that my work is hiring and see if anybody here is a good dev that would like to come work with your boy? Actually, be on my team, work side by side. So if we're looking for mid to senior level JavaScript developers. Um, Preferred that you have TypeScript and Angular experience, but if not, if you have React, Vue, and you're strong with JavaScript, that'd work as well. If you are a Node developer, but you're willing to pick up front end, that's fine. So a little bit of flexibility, but the core competency is JavaScript. You have to know JavaScript inside and out. You got to be a good JavaScript developer. So if that sounds like you, and you want to come work with me, I can tell you that the company I work for is one of the biggest companies in the world, biggest firms in the world, I should say, consulting companies. They do about $50 billion in revenue or around there. They work with about 90% of all the Fortune 500 companies, so they got their hands in a lot of cookie jars. Um, Benefits is fantastic. Salaries are fantastic. PTO is fantastic. So at least I by my standards, and I've had a few jobs, so I can tell you that. And if you're interested in working in the Tampa area, if you're a native Tampa, great. If not, they'll probably relocate you if you're good enough. Something to consider if you feel like you fit that bill and you want to come work with me and that sounds good, or you want to learn more, my email and my LinkedIn is in the description below. I'll ask that you send me your resume and that you do a short 20-minute technical screen with me. And if everything's on the up and up, I'll refer you and we'll get you interviewed. I can pretty much guarantee you an interview if you have the right skills, you interview well. I think the lowest amount of years of experience that they're willing to take is probably about 2 years of experience. So as long as you have 2 years of experience and you're well versed in JavaScript, come work with me. Anyhow, so that's what we're starting off this video about. That's our little prequel, little spiciness to get you well everyone goes in here. Um, I think we could swing 1 year if you're a coding god. Like, you know what I mean? If you're a coding god, you're willing to take direction, you're willing to learn. See, if it was up to me, here's the thing: is I understand there's not that many great senior developers. In fact, we're we're actually probably going to hurt ourselves more by having senior developers because there's going to be more opinions. If it was up to me, I would hire junior developers. We'd get more people relatively quickly, and you can teach them good traits. Like you ever play sports, right? Same thing. In sports, they would prefer that you know nothing or just how to swing a bat than to pick up bad traits that they have to break out of you because that's a much harder thing to do. So, um, for me, I would prefer junior developers that we can raise up because we're going to get people in and we're going to be able to teach them great things. We're going to teach them about the importance of testing. We're going to teach them about clean code principles. We're going to teach them about component-based architecture and how to utilize it properly. We're going to teach them about state management. We're going to teach them about the solid principles, what it means to actually be dry. So there's quite a few things that we can sort of teach. But most companies don't want junior developers, but I do. But yeah, you gotta have a little bit of experience. Um, so, do you use Pug or equivalent? No. And you shouldn't use Pug either. Pug was developed. This is my theory on Pug. Pug was developed when we were trying to so HTML has always been a pain in the ass to type out, but now you have Emmet built into your text editor by default. There's no excuse about HTML being a pain in the ass to type out. So Pug and those sort of those aren't things that real companies use. They just don't use them. So um, you want to use it, you want to play around with stuff, great, but just learn regular HTML. How do you forget from keeping technologies and frameworks you don't always work with? You learn principles and you learn fundamentals. So like I can transition to any SPA and pretty much pick it up because I understand what the basic functionality of a SPA is going to be. I understand that it's going to have routing. I understand that they're going to have um, what do you call it? Two-way binding, data binding, and some other nice features. They're going to be component based. What all that means, parent-child relationships. They're going to help probably manage state in one way or the other. So you understand the concepts, and you just as you work in them again, they come back. Uh, would you suggest focusing more on backend if that's what you enjoy more? I would always suggest working in what you enjoy the most. I'd also suggest trying to find something that pays well that you enjoy doing. Backend, if you enjoy backend, I would say that's probably the place for you. I was kicked out of an interview for not answering a whiteboard question. Um, said not going to be able to answer, was going to be a no hire. Yeah, they so first off, it sounds like they acted like it's okay not to hire somebody for um this is kind of rad. All right, I'll get back to this in a second. So yeah, it's okay to bomb a technical interview and not necessarily hire them. But it's another thing entirely to be in a situation where that happens and someone treats you unprofessionally. And it sounds like that's what happened. So, what I can recommend is that you practice, right? You continue to get better and continue to grow, and you know that you need to study these things. And it'd be really great if someone invented a course that helps you prepare for this called the 100 Algorithm Challenge, which you can get in the description below for $10. One of the best algorithm courses on the market. All right, so this text message I just got a second ago, really cool. So my very first internship 4 years ago. All right. So you guys know how I do like podcasts and whatnot. So I just went on the Six Figure Dev podcast a little while back, and one I talk a little bit about my journey. My very first internship about 4 years ago, where I got $12 an hour and I drove 2 hours each way. The gentleman who employed me just texted me right now, said, Dylan, just want to say how happy we are for you. I just heard your podcast interview. Keep on climbing and learning. So pretty cool stuff, right? When it sort of comes full circle. I'll definitely have to text him back after this. Would I build a website for a friend static only? I mean, that's up to you, right? Is that a good use of your time? Is that a good use of your assets? You have to make that decision. Give me some good backend projects that'd be pressed to interview. Just build a RESTful CRUD app. I'm young. Should I put what's young got to do with it? Should I focus on data structure and algorithm or trendy frameworks in JavaScript? All of it. Completed the 100 algorithm challenge and started my first job Monday. Good on you. And I bet that helped you with those whiteboard problems. Do you offer a course so I can learn from you one-on-one? I do offer mentoring. So I do one-on-one mentoring, and I do this as sort of a group mentoring thing because not everyone can pay, right? So I do offer paid one-on-one mentoring. It's $150 an hour. I do have a couple people that meet with me about once every 2 weeks or so. So if that's something you're interested in, my email is down below. You can shoot me an email and we can set up a time. Um, does Deb Mountain do an online bootcamp? Not anymore. Yeah. And you know what's so great about that $10 algorithm or $100 algorithm course? It's just 10 cents an algorithm. 10 cents. You get $10. I learned JavaScript after seeing your YouTube tutorial and Scrum tutorial. Thanks a lot. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Elizabeth Warren is being a hindrance. Yeah. We're not talking about politics. Um, and Kevin, so here's the thing. Like I've failed plenty of whiteboard problems, and I've had plenty of whiteboard people fail. And how it's supposed to happen when you're dealing with a good environment. So you don't even want this job because I'm gonna tell you, it's a toxic environment if that's how they're treating people applying for the job, and they're stressed out beyond their minds. They probably don't even realize it. So um, they this is what's going on right now. Um, you lucked out that they treated you this way because you don't want that job because it's going to be one of the worst jobs you've ever had. Now, how you should normally handle it, as someone who's been on both sides of the coin, is you should help someone work their way through the problem. Um, be supportive, be nice. If they ask questions, try and educate them. Make it a learning experience for the candidate. Do I have a portfolio site? I just include links on my resume. Although most of my stuff is like content driven now. I have my YouTube channel. I have various courses I've made. Um, yeah. I do have a GitHub with X amount of repos on it, and people look at that. Believe it or not, this current job, they looked at a little thing I was playing around in where I was building a meme injector in the console log. It's a Chrome extension. 6-hour interview. Oh my god. The only time I've had such a long interview was interviewing it with Microsoft. That's the one job I'm sort of upset I didn't get, man. I think the thing that bothers me the most is I would have put in the time. Like, granted, I interviewed at Microsoft with 1 year experience, and I understand why they didn't choose me. But they flew me out, and like it was like a 9-hour interview, and I think I was close to getting it, but they passed on me. But it's one of those things where like whatever they passed on me for, I know I have the skill and the more than anything else, the effort to make up for it and to be one of the best devs they have. But I don't know. It was a bummer. Yeah, it was exhausting. It was a marathon. Was it because of my data structure? Yeah, they wanted me to know certain search algorithms like the back of my hand. Yep, they want linked list, binary search, breadth first search, all that sort of stuff. I haven't touched that at that point. I think for 3 years since in school, and even then, it was basically just the like I never learned it. I just did it well enough to pass the class. Well, Tyler, I'm glad you found a good escape, man. I've been loving lately is I've been watching a lot of the live streams of your boy Joshua Fluke, man. I love his videos and live streams. He's just killing it lately. He's doing a fantastic job. Uh, I would say Microsoft uh, cares about data structures and algorithms only. It was crazy. They wanted me on an Angular and TypeScript project. I was like, dude, I people pay me money to do courses on these things. I can do the job. But like they're looking to hire you for decades. Missing a few errors is normal when you test your own code and app for um, juniors. You shouldn't. So here's the thing. Do they ask about time complexities? Yes. Time complexities, big O notation, all that sort of stuff. All the traditional. And by the way, this probably varies by team, but this was my experience. Um, all the traditional algorithm stuff is everything they want to know. Yeah, Bravo 6. So is it okay for when junior developers that they're gonna miss some errors in their code? Yes, but that doesn't mean you should. I would say it's okay. I would say it's common. Doesn't mean it's all right. Damn, man, I got LinkedIn up over here. Someone posted their failing result for the project management professional, whatever the PMP. Oh, that's savage. Kevin says, I just want to say thanks. Everyone's journey is different, but one thing you helped me understand is that your work ethic and professional is very important when it comes to getting a job. Work ethic is everything in software. I have, for the most part, been working every single day towards learning to code, bettering my skill, gaining passive income um, for about 4 years now. I'm running a little empty, I'll be honest with you. There are days where I think about not doing it, but we're not there yet. And I don't think we ever will be. I think I'll just cut it back a little bit. Do I use Leak Code? I am familiar with it, but no. So when I study algorithms, I like to use Code Fights or Code Signal. Now, I actually did two of them today. It was just a little fun, little thing. Um, how do you test slash code your apps? Well, I use testing principles that are associated with it. I make sure I have tests that surround the acceptance criteria. I make sure I write test. Sometimes I'll do a TDD approach to it. I have my test running as I'm developing, so I make sure I don't break anything as I go. And of course, there's manual testing as well. Do all programmers have a big ego? Are you saying I have a big ego? That's what I feel like you're saying. That's not very nice. Daniel. There are some though. Have I kept in touch with Matt from Engineer Truth lately? Um, we last time we talked was maybe 2 weeks ago. We probably talk about once a month right now. So usually catch up, say, "Hey, what's going on, man? How's life?" Uh, something funny happened, let him know. Some craziness at work happened, let him know. Um, your boy, hey, Handies. But yeah, so it just depends, man. But yeah, Matt and I, for the most part, we stay in touch. We don't talk every day. We're busy, man. Here's the thing about like this is one thing I've sort of noticed as I've grown older and more mature is that like Matt and I used to talk all the time and like other friends, but what ends up happening is people so like as you both are progressing, you're naturally going to progress apart. That's just how the world works. But because you're both hustling, there'll always be that connection, and you'll still it'll be like you talked yesterday. Um, if you were unemployed and didn't have a house, would you move and work to Seattle? I'd move and work to I would relocate to Seattle for the right company, even owning a house. I bought a house that I can afford. I could probably afford another house or two. Um, if I was smart with my money, I definitely could buy a second house and afford both mortgages. But I would love to live in Seattle, but it just got to be for the right company and right salary. That's all. Save your dough. I am saving my dough, man. I rent out 2 rooms in my house because I'm sort of fiscally conservative and I'm trying to save money and enjoy life a little bit and all that stuff. Are these days you ever regret getting into the industry? You're pretty satisfied, able to get over burnout quickly. So here's what I'll say about companies that burn you out consistently. Just leave. That's the truth of the matter. Just leave. You can probably get a pay bump, and you'll probably find an equally bad environment. So at least you get paid better. And typically, you have a honeymoon period where the first couple months are pretty good before they start going sort of insane on you. Um, but no, I have zero regrets getting into software. I absolutely, I absolutely love being a software engineer. Now, what I will say is that I think my passion lies in teaching, and I am looking to do that more so, which I think that sort of the next step in my career will be some sort of team lead position or tech lead position, and that will fill a little bit of that void. But at some point in my career, I want to mentor devs directly, whether it's at a boot camp, whatever. I've looked into teaching at some of the coding boot camps in the area. Unfortunately, the part-time ones are too far away, and they they don't pay enough. It's like it's so I did the hourly math, and it's like half of what I make now, and doesn't include benefits and its contracts. So it's more like a third. Of all the big four, I guess you're talking about Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, Google. Same pay, benefits, location, etc. Same. Which one would I work for? My tier would go something like this. Google, Microsoft are in the same category. So those are two for me that are like, if there was a company out there that was like of those top companies, there's just something. So a couple of reasons. Very practical reason is if I worked at Google or Microsoft, my YouTube channel would double in size. My my sort of validity would double or triple. Like people would actually take what I have to say more seriously, and I could monetize it. Um, But those two companies fall into that. Second would be Amazon. And at one time, I wanted to work at Facebook, but they just seem to be just messing up all the time. So I don't know about that one. What are your thoughts on if sometimes I spend my time doing something other than coding? Does that mean I'm not passionate enough about it? I mean, I don't know. It depends on what you're trying to do, but I would say by and large, no. But like, if you don't have your first dev job and you're struggling to get one, you should probably spend more time. Like for me, I don't expect people to work like me do, man. Um, I work so much at coding that my girlfriend warns me when we go on vacation that I better be checked in. Uh, you know, I don't. You don't need to be like that. Have I ever tried Ember.js? I think I watched a tutorial back in the day. Do you think because of the current climate you'd have a harder time getting into Google? If by current climate, I think what you're implying is that because I am a white male, I might have a hard time getting into a very progressive company. No, I don't worry about that. You know why I don't worry about it? Um, One, I think a lot of these things are overstated. And two, why am I going to worry about something that's outside my control? Like, what? Why? Why don't I worry about. Here's the thing. If I spent all my time worrying about not having a CS degree and being a college dropout, I would never actually get past that. Instead, what I preferred to do, and what I did, was I focused on building skills, I focused on building projects, and standing out to the people who would hire me so that they would look past that. So, no, I don't worry about that. It's not worth your time to worry about it. Only worry about things you can control. That's not something you can control. And also, by the way, if a company, if you are worried about a company hiring you because of something other than your skill set, you don't want to work at that company. That is an unfortunate. That is a going to be a bad experience. I don't have experience in Laravel. No. Pretty fly for a white guy. Hey. That means we're about the same age if you're saying pretty fly for a white guy. Um, Good old Eminem. Oh, was it Eminem? Pretty fly for a white guy. I'm 25. Oh no, I'm much older than you. 6 years. Offspring. Thank you. I was thinking of who? What's the? I'm trying to think what was the not Stan. There's another guy. You're 31. Damn. What's that mean, man? What do you mean, damn? Yeah, you're old as dirt. Yeah, what are you like 18? To an 18-year-old, 31 is ancient. Um, you seem to be aging okay. I ain't got no kids. That's why. um, no man. So here's the secret to. And by the way, I'm completely out of shape, so I'm not aging that well. The secret to um, the secret to sort of being happy is just to make sure that you're happy. What I mean by that is remove the stress from your life and keep those people around you that support you. Get rid of those people who don't. Um, how did I get over interview anxiety? You just do it enough that you don't care anymore. It also gets easier as you get more experience. You're like, yo, they need me more than I need them. Um, I used to throw up before interviews, like legitimately throw up in like parking lots and then go and interview because I was so anxious about it. Which is easier to learn, faster React or vanilla JavaScript? Um, I mean, you should always understand a little bit of DOM manipulation in vanilla JavaScript. Oh man, I'm tired, man. It's been a long week. First off, React is not just JavaScript. Craziness. I have a desktop setup, man. I like it. I don't even have a laptop other than my work laptop. I like so one of the things that makes me efficient is I have my setup, I have my multiple monitors, I'm comfy, I got my standing desk, and it's here. This is where I go to work. I don't really, I play games on here on occasion, not too often, but this is where I work. So I think that's a big thing. It's like it's not. I don't sleep in here. This is where I work. If I was going to get incredibly proficient in JavaScript, Node.js, how would I go about it? Well, first off, I'd probably do mini courses and I'd build mini projects. That's basically it. That's how you get proficient. And then in between projects, I would look up higher level things to see how I could go and build it out. And then I'd refactor old projects. If you were to interview someone, what are some non-technical things you would fail for? Um, if I asked them why they were leaving and they gave a really bad answer, if you ask them how would you describe their boss and they say they're a piece of shit, I would probably not move forward with them. If they just have incredibly bad communication skills. 45 and 4 months in on my first dev job. Good on you, Dante. Good on you. See, Dante, you know what Dante? Dante didn't say, "Oh, ageism, this and that." They're only hiring developers who are 25. Dante went out there, said, "I don't care. I'm going to get good and I'm going to get a job and I'm going to be a dev." That's what Dante did. Dev Dante. All right. Good on you, man. That's one of the things that drives me nuts is all this ageism talk. Is like, is it a thing? Probably. Not as bad as people want to think about, but don't spend the energy on that. Spend energy on getting good so that that's not a problem. Yeah. JavaScript's probably easier to learn than Java. I would say there's a lot less low level concepts that you need to learn. Is it difficult to master Angular with previous experience in Ember or React? No, I mean you just have to be somewhat familiar with core concepts, man. And that's the thing. So many people nowadays just memorize things, And if you're a developer and you're memorize things, and all you're doing is memorizing, you've already lost. Like, because you just can't. It's impossible. React or Angular? React, there's more of a demand. I personally like Angular better, but I like Angular better for all the reasons that people like React, like or don't like it. It provides structure. It's maintained by one team. It forces standards. Probably the issue with software development is people just make their own standards, start hacking shit out. They shouldn't be hacking out. Is jQuery still relevant? Should you take time to learn it or just go into a framework? I would say spend a weekend or two tops diving into jQuery and then move on. Just so you can put it on there. Why is Erlang the best language of all languages? I don't know, man. You tell me. Academine or Mosh? I like Academine. I took 3 of Mosh's C# courses. I didn't really like it. And he broke them up into 3 courses. Probably for a money grab, which I wasn't too happy about. All that should have been one course. Yeah. Like, so when I buy, so there's two people whose courses I buy typically. Academine's usually the first one because um he's going to be covering everything. And it's like a video dictionary. And then there's Traversity Medias, and he's going to cover all the stuff that actually matters. Those are the 2 I like doing. Would it impress you if a junior developer knew TypeScript? Yes. It impressed me even more if they knew how to use it properly. Where do I buy courses from? Usually Udemy. Write you a letter of recommendation? No. You couldn't even pay me to write you a letter of recommendation. Do you ever consider what goes at the low level hardware when you write code? I'm not quite sure what you mean. You guys want to hear something funny? I took the JavaScript challenge on LinkedIn, and I missed 3 problems. Now I knew one that I might have missed, but 2 of those I think they have incorrect. Swear to you, I think they have them incorrect because they weren't hard problems. So either that or I misclicked something. Oh shit! I forgot I have a phone call in about 10 minutes, guys. We're gonna have to cut this a little short today. I got a business call I gotta take. Your boy's out there hustling. Um, it was free Codecamp and Udemy. You learned to get in. Yeah, so Codecademy, free Codecamp, YouTube, and free courses on Udemy. After I dropped out of college, I didn't spend a single dollar on anything. I only spent money on courses after I already had a dev job. All free stuff. Not necessarily that I recommend it, but it was what I did. All right, guys. I gotta prep for this business call I have. Got to make that money. So you know what I'm saying. But as always, thank you so much for watching. We do these live streams once a week. Look forward to next week's videos. And if you're interested in any of my courses, like the 100 algorithm challenge that people come in here all the time, tell it how it prepared them for those whiteboard interviews, you can get it for just $10 and all the books I recommend and all that sort of stuff as well. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Links in the description below if it wasn't obvious.